Hello everyone. Felix Zemdegs just broke his own oceanic 3x3 single record by setting a 4.16 second solve at Auckland Summer Open on March 1st, 2020. It was the second solve of the second round, and interestingly, it was the only sub 6 solve of this average. The scramble should be on your screens, but before you scramble, note that he did blue cross. If you want to follow along but are not comfortable with the blue cross, keep your cross color at the back face before scrambling. So this is the scramble that he got, and he did blue cross from this angle. So the blue pieces are here, here, and here. As you can see, it's a very straightforward 3-move cross. Because it is already solved, you can put in orange in one move, and that will set up yellow to go in one move, and white is already gonna go in one L2. So you can also plan a couple of pairs if you want. So what he did was he saw that this pair was already formed, and the only move that's gonna move this pair is the R prime that he's gonna do, and that's gonna bring this pair here. So when he holds it like this, the pair is gonna come here, and he can insert it with an F prime UF. And that's 6 moves, and he's already solved cross +1. So he just keeps looking for more pairs. He probably looked at this one, but clearly this is not gonna be good because it's attached, and the only moves that are going to affect this are F prime L2, which is going to bring it here, and then when you insert this pair, the corner is going to come here, but it's not really going to be a great pair. So then he looked for this edge and this corner and the corresponding edge, which is right here. And as you can see, this edge is not going to move, except when you insert it, it's going to come here. And this corner is only going to move in the first F prime L, R prime, F prime R prime. So it's gonna come with blue over here at this point. So it's gonna be a nice 2-gen because this edge is correctly oriented. So it's gonna be a double sexy from the back. So as you can see, we have already planned two crosses, two F12 pairs, and the third F12 pair is right here, which you can track while you do the solve. So from this angle, he did F, R prime, and L2 while rotating, and he inserted this pair. As you can see, this pair is already right here, and the pair that we were tracking is here. So we insert this, that brings this pair here, which we're going to do third. The second pair is right here, and he does this from the back by taking out the corner and setting up for a free move insert. At the same time, he is keeping track of this pair, and that already formed this pair, so he directly went into inserting this pair. So that's a very straightforward solve so far. The first 3 pairs were done in very few moves, and the 4th pair came right in front. It's not the best case, the edge is not correctly oriented, so he'll probably have to rotate and use F moves, and it's one of the worst pairs when both the pieces are in the top layer. But since the solve has been so good so far, and the edge popped up right in front of you while you were solving the other pairs, I think it's a pretty good case. So there are a couple of ways to solve this. What you can do is you can do a U2 sledgehammer to set it up, but that's not going to give you any edges oriented for the last layer. And on top of that, it's a sledgehammer on the left, and you're going to have to rotate anyway, or you're going to have to use more F moves. So it's not very helpful. Another thing you can do is you can do a U prime, and then an F prime, U prime, L prime, ULF to pair this up. But again, that's a lot of lefty moves, and it's not great. So what Felix did was the most intuitive solution, in which he rotated while doing a U2. He inserted the corner, and then he solved this case by putting the edge over here and taking it out like this. That also gives him 2 edges over here, so he can insert this pair via sledgehammer, and this is going to give him all the edges correctly oriented. But before I go any further in the solve, I want to show you a particular case in the last layer. So when you have done the white cross, this is what suppose this is what you get. All your edges are oriented on the top, and you get a pi case or a Bruno case depending on when you started cubing. So the most common algorithm for this is the RU2 prime algorithm. But for this particular COLL, in which these two colors are matching and these two colors are matching, the algorithm is one of the algorithms. I think the most common algorithm nowadays is not this, but one of the algorithms is F inverse sexy UR U2 R prime, which is almost an inverse sexy, and then you get this case where you have to insert this pair over here, and this you see in a lot of PLLs like T-perm, for example, where you preserve this block by bringing it here and then doing RU R prime and then ending with an F prime. So basically it's an F, 3 really quick RU triggers, and then an F prime, which is a pretty fast algorithm. And it turns out that Feliks in certain cases uses it for OLL as well. So in this case, when Feliks was inserting this using a sledgehammer, he did not do the last F prime, and he saw that these two corners are facing here, and if he's gonna do an F prime, he's gonna get the same pi case. He said in his video that he did not really recognize the COLL or the ZBLL for this case. He just wanted to do OLL, and he wanted to cancel two moves, this F prime and the first F of the OLL algorithm. So he just did not do the F prime of the sledgehammer, and he directly went into the inverse sexy, and then he continued the algorithm, and then he did this, and he got a PLL skip with no AUF. He hadn't seen that it was gonna give him a skip, but by the end I'm pretty sure he figured it out, so he did not have much of a pause when stopping the timer. Anyway, later on Feliks Zemdegs went on to win this competition, and he was really unopposed. I hope you found this reconstruction insightful. On this channel I make reconstructions of some of the historic solves and averages, and it is a great way to learn new tricks and styles. To know more, please consider subscribing.